Today is April 21st, 2010. Our guest is David Icke, right here on the Intel Hub. He'll be talking a little bit about his book, Human Race, Get Off Your Knees, The Lion Sleeps No More. Of course, his website is davidicke.com. He really needs no introduction. He's a former professional soccer player, a journalist, network anchorman for the BBC. He's written scores of books, and we're just pleased to have him here on the Intel Hub. David Icke, you have the floor.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to be on the show, and if I talk a little bit, if you like, to start with about my new book, it's the biggest work I've ever done. It's nearly 700 pages, 355,000 words, and 325 illustrations, and 32 pages of original artwork, and it's a massive work of dot connecting, because that's really what I've been doing this almost exactly 20 years now. You can look at a situation or a subject in isolation, and it can be interesting and fascinating, and there can be questions about what's going on and why is this happening. But once you start connecting the dots between apparently, on the face of it, unconnected people, events, situations, and subjects, you suddenly start to see the picture. It's like when you are doing a jigsaw puzzle, once you get the frame in place, in other words, in this case, the structure through which the few can control the many, then you can start putting the pieces in. And of course, like a jigsaw puzzle, the more pieces you put in, the quicker you can put the pieces in, because you can start to see where they go. And that's really where it's got now after 20 years. But there's a lot of new stuff in the book, and I look at what I call Rothschild Zionism very closely in part of it, because people totally misunderstand in general, and I understand why they misunderstand. It's because they're given a false story from cradle to grave. They misunderstand what Zionism is. In the book, I call it Rothschild Zionism all the way through, to emphasize the creator of it and the controller of it ever since. Zionism is nothing whatsoever to do with benefiting or anything else with regard to Jewish people as a whole. It's not Rothschild Jewish people, it's Rothschild Zionism. And what you realize is how many Jewish people reject Zionism. But what the Rothschilds have done brilliantly is get the association between the two absolutely fast in the public mind. So when you're talking about Zionism, you're talking about the Jewish people. When you're talking about the manipulation that Rothschild Zionism does, you're saying that it's a Jewish plot. And this is how they've done it very well. And they've got organizations like the Anti-Defamation League and B'nai B'rith, Rothschild Zionist fronts, completely created and controlled by them, to target anyone who gets too close to uncovering the truth. So there's a heck of a lot about that in part of the book, and then it runs on through, and you realize just how massively Rothschild Zionism influences world banking, the world entertainment industry, global politics, and you also understand why when you have a country like Israel doing the appalling things, horrific things it's doing to the Palestinian population, the American authorities, the British authorities, the European authorities basically look the other way. Any other country in the world, there would be an outcry. There would be calls for sanctions. There would be called for many things to be done to stop what was going on. But because it's Israel, controlled by the House of Rothschild, the American administration, Republican or Democrat, controlled by the House of Rothschild, they look the other way. And this is also why when you've got a country like Israel that basically has an economy and a standard of living along with countries like Spain, that enormous, fantastic amounts of money are given every year by the American government to Israel, and that slither of land we call Israel, has the biggest F-16 fleet outside America, provided by the American government and the American military. And you go, if you don't understand what's going on, why would they do that? Well, they do that because America is one arm of the Rothschilds, Israel's another arm of the Rothschilds, Britain's another arm of the Rothschilds, and so basically they're handing money and military weaponry from this hand to this hand, you know, in the same network. So there's a lot about that in the book.
Oh, wow, absolutely. Now, I was also reading into on your website, and it talks about the moon matrix. Can you describe that to us a little bit?
Well, the reason that the book is nearly 700 pages long is because it covers so many different subjects, including the nature of reality itself. And it's only by understanding that that we can truly understand how the control system is 24/7 influencing the thoughts and perceptions of the human population. And what's happened over the years, and like I say, it's 20 years at the end of March the 31st this year, a few days ago, that it all started for me, consciously started for me. And over the years, I have experienced a recurring pattern, and it is this. I get this overwhelming feeling, knowing, it just engulfs me that a situation is in a certain way. And after that, suddenly, information, documents, books, experiences, people I meet, relating to that subject, confirm to me that initial feeling, that initial knowing, through what I call five sense information: names, dates, places, scientific background, etc. And this has happened so many times, and I recognize it very clearly now. And while I was writing this book, I was sitting at this chair that I'm sitting at now, and I just got this overwhelming, massive feeling that the moon was not what we thought it was, that it was a construct of some sort, very probably a hollowed out planetoid by a race that is light years technologically ahead of where we are in the public arena. And people, when they hear this sort of stuff I'm going to talk about now and other things, what they need to remember is that what is possible for humans to do now in the public arena anyway, because it's the technological possibility is much further ahead in the secret projects, but in the public arena, it's not the cutting edge of scientific knowledge. It's not the cutting edge of technological possibility. It is nowhere near, my goodness, the cutting edge. And if we perceive what it's possible by what we can do now, then we're going to completely lose the plot, because that's not what we're dealing with. We're dealing with, in the background, behind the Illuminati families that we talk about, behind this, if you like, human network of families and secret societies, there is a non-human race that has been manipulating humanity for eons. And they are technologically much further advanced, massively further advanced. And so I got this overwhelming feeling that the moon was not what we thought it was, and it was some kind of probably hollowed out planetoid, and inside, not on the moon, although, you've only got to go on the internet to see the way NASA moon photographs have been smudged out and covered over to stop us seeing what's actually on the surface in terms of non-natural phenomena. But it's in the moon. It's in the moon. That's where it's coming from. And what happened then is, suddenly I went on the internet immediately, and I